Hello grade 3, how are you? Today we will talk about an interesting topic. Our topic is called adaptation. Again, our lesson or our topic is called adaptation. But before I explain what is the meaning of adaptation, I want to explain an important term which is called habitat. Again, it's called habitat. What is the meaning of habitat? Habitat is the environment or the place where living organisms live and grow. Of course, you know living organisms such as people, animals, and plants. These are the living organisms. So the place where the living organisms live and grow is called habitat. Okay, so I can say that my home is my habitat? Yes. So again, habitat is the environment or the place where the living organisms live and grow. Now, let me show you some examples for different habitats. First, try to guess. What is this habitat? Yes, it's desert. Okay, it's desert, where different animals can live, such as camel, some snakes, fennec fox. All these animals can live in the desert. Okay, what else? Try to guess this habitat. Yes, it's snow. Some other animals can live in snow, such as penguins and polar bears. Okay, what else? Of course, you will know this habitat. It's water. It's water. Oceans, rivers, or sea. Different animals can live in water, such as fish, sharks, and whales. Okay, what else? Try to think and guess. What is this habitat? Yes, it's forest. Okay, it's forest. What are the animals that can live in the forest? Think with me. I will start and I will give you the first example. Lions. Yes, lions can live in forest. What else? Bears and tiger, cheetah. All these animals can live in the forest. So again, habitat is the environment or the place where the living organisms, people, animals, and plants live and grow. Okay? Now, the title of our lesson, it's called adaptation. Again, it's called adaptation. What is the meaning of adaptation? Adaptation is the properties or the features and the changes that help the living organisms to survive and reproduce in their habitat. Again, I will read the title and I will read the definition. Adaptation is the properties and the changes that help the living organisms to survive, stay alive, and reproduce in their habitat. Let me explain the adaptation in other way. All living organisms, grade 3, people, animals, and plants have some features or properties, and also they can do some changes to be able to stay alive and reproduce in their habitat. Let me show you or let me give you some examples. Why should we eat? Of course, to stay alive. So eating for the living organisms is considered a form of adaptation. Okay. In winter, when we feel so cold, what will we do? Yes, we can stay in the sun or we can wear jackets, okay, or heavy clothes. Why? To feel warm. So this is called adaptation. I made a change to be able to survive and to be good in my habitat. Okay, what else? If you feel so hot, what will you do? I will open the fan. Excellent. Why? To feel so cool, to feel cool. So this is called adaptation. Okay. Some animals have wings. Can you tell me why? Think. Yes, to be able to fly. So this feature, presence of wings in the birds, is very important. Why? To help them to fly. They can move by flying. So this is called adaptation. So again, grade 3, adaptation is the properties or features and the changes that help the living organisms to survive and reproduce in their habitat. Now, I will talk about some examples of animals that live in different habitats and make adaptation with their habitats. First, snow habitat. Examples for animals that live in the snow habitat. Do you know this animal? It's penguin. Yes, penguin. Penguin can live in snow. But snow is very cold. How can penguins adapt or make adaptation with the snow? Try to think. Look at the picture and try to think. How can the penguins make adaptation with the snow? The body of the penguins is covered with feathers and thick layer of fat. Thick layer of fat. Why? Why their bodies are covered with feathers and thick layer of fat? The feathers and the fat layer help them to stay warm in snow. The snow is very cold and they need to feel warm. So, presence of feathers and fat layer help them to stay warm in snow. So this is called adaptation. We said before, adaptation is the features or the shape and the changes that the living organisms can do to stay alive and to reproduce in their habitat. So presence of feathers and fat layer in the penguins help them to stay warm in the snow. Okay? Another example for animals that can live in the snow. Can you tell me what it is? It's called polar bear. Again, called polar bear. The polar bears live in the snow. Try to think and look at the picture. How can they make adaptation with the snow? It's very cold. How can they make adaptation? There are two things help the polar bears to live in the snow. First, their bodies are covered with white, thick fur. Again, their bodies are covered with what? White and thick fur. Why? Why they are covered with white, don't forget the color, and thick fur? The thick fur helps them to stay warm. So their fur is thick to help them to stay warm. What about the color? The white color of their fur helps them to hide and hunt in the white snow. Oh my God. So they have white color fur to help them to hide in the white snow? Yes. When they hide in the white snow, they can hunt easily. Okay? So again, the polar bears live in snow and they can make adaptation with their environment or with their habitat. How? Through their thick and white fur. They have thick fur to stay warm. And the fur's color is white to help them to hide and hunt in the snow. Now, we will talk about another habitat and examples for the animals that live in this habitat. Forest habitat and some examples for animals that live in this habitat. First, black and brown birds. They are the black and brown birds. Black and brown birds can live in the forest. They can live in the forest. Okay, so the forest now is considered the habitat of the black and brown bear. So if I asked you, black and brown bear live where? In the forest. So now the forest is considered habitat for them? Yes. Okay. How can they make adaptation with their habitat? Think. Their bodies are covered with black and brown fur. Okay. How can this help them to stay alive and reproduce in their habitat? The color of their fur can help them to make adaptation? Yes. How? The color of their fur helps them to hide and hunt in the forest. You know that there are dark places in the forest of brown and black colors. Brown and black colors are found in the forest. So the black and the brown fur that's covered or that's found in the black and brown birds help them to hide between trees and hunt to eat in the forest. So this is called adaptation. Yes, it's a feature or it's shape of adaptation. The cover of the black and the brown bird is brown or black. Their covered color is brown or black. So they can hide between trees and hunt. And this is called adaptation. Now another habitat. Desert habitat. Examples for animals that live in the desert habitat. I think you don't know this animal. I tell you this name. It's called fennec fox. Again, it's called what? Fennec fox. So the fennec fox lives where? Yes, in the desert. It lives in the desert. Okay. Do you think it can make adaptation in the desert? Of course. We said all the living organisms need to make adaptation to survive, to stay alive, to reproduce in their habitat. Okay. How can the fennec fox make adaptation in the desert? According to its body cover. According to this point, how can they make adaptation? Let me show you. Its body is covered with sandy colored fur. Its body is covered with sandy colored fur. So the color of its body cover looks like the color of the sand. Think with me. What does this mean? It means it can hide and hunt in the desert easily because the color of its body cover looks like the color of the sand. So it can easily hide and hunt in the desert. So do you think it can live easily in the desert? Of course. So grade 3, I will repeat again what is the meaning of adaptation. Focus with me. Adaptation is the features or the properties that help the living organisms to survive, stay alive, and live and reproduce in their habitats. And what is the meaning of habitat? It's the place where the living organisms can live and grow. I hope you understood the lesson and I see you next session. Thank you so much.